Sophie had always been a high achiever. As a marketing manager in a fast-paced company, she was used to juggling multiple responsibilities. But lately, things had started spiraling out of control. Her mornings were chaotic. She'd wake up to an inbox flooded with unread emails, Slack messages from colleagues, and countless notifications from social media. She would skim through articles, check the latest news updates, and mentally run through her long to-do list before she even got out of bed. By mid-morning, Sophie felt exhausted. She was constantly switching between tasks, responding to messages while working on presentations, and hopping from one virtual meeting to another. No matter how hard she tried, she never seemed to get ahead. At home, things weren't any better. Her apartment was cluttered. Her bills were lost in stacks of papers, and she often forgot birthdays and important appointments. One evening, after yet another overwhelming day, she sat on her couch feeling defeated. She had read countless productivity articles, but nothing seemed to work. That's when she stumbled upon The Organized Mind Thinking Straight in the Age of Information Overload by Daniel Levitin. The title struck a chord. Was it really possible to bring order to the constant chaos? Could she regain control of her life and mental space? As Sophie began reading, she realized she wasn't alone. The modern world was overwhelming for everyone. But Levitin, a neuroscientist, explained that our brains weren't designed to handle this much information. Instead of trying to manage everything internally, we needed better systems, external tools, structured habits, and a shift in mindset. What followed was a journey of transformation. By applying the lessons from the book, Sophie learned to filter out unnecessary noise, structure her daily routine, and focus on what truly mattered. Let's dive into the principles that helped Sophie, and that can help anyone feeling overwhelmed by modern life. Chapter 1. The Science of Overload. Why our brains struggle. Levitin begins by explaining the fundamental problem. Our brains are not built for the digital age. Thousands of years ago, humans lived in small tribes with limited information. Their primary concerns were survival, finding food, avoiding predators, and staying safe. Fast forward to today, and the situation is drastically different. We receive more information in a single day than a person in the 15th century encountered in their entire lifetime. Emails, text messages, news updates, advertisements, and social media feeds constantly demand our attention. But here's the catch. Our brains have not evolved to process this level of complexity. Our brains are wired to focus on a few important things, not to manage hundreds of notifications and to-do lists at once. Levitin explains, Sophie had never thought about it this way. She had assumed that feeling overwhelmed meant she was inefficient. But in reality, she was expecting her brain to do something it wasn't designed for. Practical tips. Filter information actively. Unsubscribe from unnecessary emails. Reduce social media consumption. And prioritize important tasks. Recognize that feeling overwhelmed is normal. The problem isn't it's the overload. The solution is better organization, not working harder. Chapter 2. Externalizing information. The power of trusted systems. Daniel Levitin, in The Organized Mind, explains that our brains are not designed to store vast amounts of information. Instead, they excel at problem-solving, creativity, and critical thinking. The issue is that most people overload their minds with excessive data, appointments, deadlines, tasks, and random thoughts, leading to stress, forgetfulness, and cognitive fatigue. The solution? Externalizing information, moving important details from your brain to structured, external systems like calendars, notebooks, and digital tools. Sophie, overwhelmed by work responsibilities and personal commitments, decided to implement this strategy. Instead of relying on memory, she started using a task manager app to track her work deadlines, meetings, and action items. This simple habit freed up mental space and reduced her anxiety about forgetting important tasks. She also applied this method at home. By creating a home organization system, she stored essential documents, bills, warranties, passports in clearly labeled folders. This eliminated the stress of searching for paperwork at the last minute. The results were immediate. A clearer mind, allowing for better focus. Reduced stress as she no longer relied on memory alone. Increased productivity. since her brain was free for problem solving rather than information recall. Why externalizing information works. Levitin's research, along with cognitive science studies, supports the idea that external storage systems reduce mental clutter, leading to more effective thinking. Key reasons why this works. 1. Memory is fallible. Our brains are prone to forgetting. A study by Hermann Ebbinghaus on the forgetting curve shows that we lose over 50% of new information within an hour unless we actively reinforce it. Writing things down ensures we don't lose track of important tasks and ideas. 2. Cognitive load reduction. The cognitive load theory suggests that our working memory has a limited capacity. Offloading information prevents mental overload, allowing us to focus on tasks that require deep thinking. 3. Better decision-making. When information is externalized, we can prioritize more effectively and make decisions based on clear, structured data rather than mental chaos. Practical tips for externalizing information. To implement this strategy effectively, try the following. 1. Use a calendar for scheduling. Why? Free your brain from remembering dates. How? Use Google Calendar, Outlook, or a planner to record all appointments, deadlines, and events. Set reminders for key tasks. 2. Keep an external task manager. Why? To prevent task overload. How? Use digital tools like Todoist, Notion, or Trello, or a simple notebook to jot down to-do lists and action items. 3. Declutter your physical and digital space. Why? An organized space leads to organized thinking. How? Use labeled folders for documents, a clean workspace, and digital organization systems like Google Drive or Evernote for important files. 4. Use a notebook for ideas and notes. Why? Creative ideas can be lost if not recorded. How? Keep a small journal or a note-taking app like OneNote or Apple Notes for random thoughts, brainstorming, and planning. 5. Automate routine reminders. Why? Automating reminders frees up mental energy. How? Set phone or email alerts for bill payments, birthdays, and recurring tasks. Externalizing information isn't just about organization. It's about freeing your brain for higher-level thinking. By creating trusted systems to store and manage data, you can reduce stress, increase productivity, and improve mental clarity. Just as Sophie discovered, small changes, like using a planner or organizing documents, can create a massive impact on focus and efficiency. Chapter 3. The Myth of Multitasking. Why focus is key. Sophie had always prided herself on being a multitasker. She would check emails during meetings, reply to messages while writing reports, and listen to podcasts while working on projects. She believed this approach made her more efficient. But The Organized Mind by Daniel Levitin revealed a surprising truth. Multitasking is a myth. Levitin explains, your brain doesn't actually multitask. It rapidly switches between tasks. But each switch consumes energy and reduces efficiency. Research backs this up. Studies from Stanford University and the American Psychological Association show that multitasking can reduce productivity by up to 40%, increase stress and mental fatigue, decrease focus and weaken memory, lower creativity and problem-solving abilities. Sophie realized that her constant task switching was actually slowing her down. Determined to improve, she adopted a single-tasking approach to work more effectively. Why multitasking fails. Neuroscientific research has proven that our brains are not wired for multitasking. Instead of handling multiple tasks simultaneously, the brain performs task switching, which, consumes more energy. Every time you switch tasks, your brain must reorient itself. This process, called context switching, requires mental effort, leading to quicker fatigue. 2. Slows down productivity. Studies by Gloria Mark, University of California, Irvine, show that after switching tasks, it takes an average of 23 minutes and 15 seconds to regain full concentration. 3. Increases mistakes. Research from the American Psychological Association found that people who multitask make up to twice as many errors compared to those who focus on one task at a time. 4. Reduces memory and learning. MRI scans show that multitasking overloads the brain's prefrontal cortex, making it harder to retain information and learn new skills effectively. How Sophie reclaimed focus with single tasking. Determined to break her multitasking habit, Sophie introduced the following changes. Scheduled email check-ins. Instead of constantly checking emails, she allocated 2 specific times per day to read and respond. Reducing distractions. Used the Pomodoro technique. She worked in focused 25-minute blocks, followed by 5-minute breaks. This helped maintain concentration and avoid burnout. Turned off notifications. Sophie silenced unnecessary phone and desktop alerts to prevent interruptions. During deep work, batched similar tasks together. She grouped similar tasks, e.g., responding to emails, making calls, writing reports, into dedicated time slots to minimize task switching. Within a week, Sophie noticed faster task completion, higher quality work, less stress, and mental exhaustion. Practical tips to avoid multitasking. If you want to increase focus and productivity, implement these strategies. 1. Work in focus time blocks. Try the Pomodoro technique. 25-minute work, 5-minute break, or 50-minute deep work sessions with a 10-minute break. 2. Turn off digital distractions. Silence notifications from emails, social media, and messaging apps while working. 3. Prioritize and batch similar tasks. Instead of constantly switching between tasks, group similar tasks together. Example: answer emails at a specific time rather than throughout the day. 4. Use the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately instead of postponing it and creating unnecessary mental clutter. 5. Set clear boundaries. Communicate with colleagues or family about dedicated focus times to minimize interruptions. Multitasking feels productive but is actually counterproductive. By focusing on one task at a time, you can boost efficiency, reduce stress, and produce higher quality work. As Sophie discovered, making small adjustments, like batching tasks and using focused time blocks, can transform the way you work and think. Chapter 4. Decision fatigue. Reducing the number of choices you make. Understanding decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is a psychological phenomenon that occurs when the quality of our decisions deteriorates as a result of making too many choices throughout the day. Dr. Roy Baumeister, a leading researcher in willpower and self-control, found that our mental energy is finite. Each decision, big or small, drains cognitive resources. Think of your brain like a smartphone battery. Each decision, no matter how minor, consumes some charge. If you waste battery power on trivial choices, like picking an outfit or deciding what to eat, you'll have less energy left for important decisions like business strategies, financial planning, or creative problem solving. The hidden costs of decision fatigue. Research from Dr. Jonathan Levitin at Stanford University analyzed over 100 parole board hearings and found a shocking pattern. Prisoners who had their hearings in the morning were granted parole 70% of the time. Those with afternoon hearings had a less than 10% chance of release. The reason? Judges became mentally exhausted from making too many decisions throughout the day. Instead of carefully considering each case, they defaulted to the easiest option: denial. This phenomenon isn't limited to judges. Decision fatigue can lead to impulsive choices, buying junk food, overspending, or making rash business decisions, procrastination, avoiding making decisions altogether, mental burnout, feeling overwhelmed, stressed, and unable to focus. Why high performers reduce daily choices. Many successful individuals minimize trivial decisions to preserve their mental energy for bigger goals. Steve Jobs wore a black turtleneck and jeans daily to avoid wasting mental energy on outfit choices. Barack Obama said, "I wear only gray or blue suits. I don't want to make decisions about what I'm eating or wearing, because I have too many other decisions to make." Mark Zuckerberg wears the same gray t-shirt and jeans daily to focus on building Facebook. By eliminating unnecessary decisions, they free up cognitive resources for more impactful thinking. How Sophie overcame decision fatigue. Sophie, a marketing manager, realized she was constantly exhausted. She spent too much time on minor decisions, such as deciding what to wear each morning, figuring out what to eat for lunch, checking emails all day long instead of in batches. These small, repeated choices drained her mental energy before she even tackled the important aspects of her job. To fix this, Sophie implemented 3 major strategies. 1. Automating daily decisions. Sophie created structured systems for routine choices to free up mental bandwidth. Meal prepping. She planned her meals every Sunday to avoid last-minute food decisions. Capsule wardrobe. She simplified her clothing choices to a few mix and match outfits. Morning and evening routines. Instead of deciding each morning what to do first, she followed a consistent schedule for exercise, meditation, and reading. Result: she saved hours of time and started each day with clarity and focus. 2. Batching. Similar tasks. Instead of switching between different tasks constantly, Sophie grouped similar activities together to reduce mental strain. Emails. She checked emails only twice a day instead of responding instantly. Meetings. She scheduled all her meetings on the same day rather than scattering them throughout the week. Steps she followed. Consistent folder structure. She created clear, logical folders and subfolders with standardized naming conventions. Cloud storage. She used Google Drive and Dropbox for easy access from any device. Version control. She labeled files with dates. E.g., Marketing Report Conan 2150 some receptrintas age. to avoid confusion with outdated versions. Result: she no longer wasted time searching for documents. Everything had a designated place. 2. Managing emails for efficiency. A cluttered inbox can be overwhelming. Instead of letting thousands of emails pile up, Sophie applied email organization techniques. Email categories. She created labels for emails. Urgent. Immediate action required. Reference. Important but not urgent. Follow-up. Needs attention later. Inbox zero method. She processed emails once in the morning and once in the afternoon, replying, archiving or categorizing them immediately. Unsubscribed from unnecessary emails to reduce distractions. Result: her inbox became manageable, and she could easily find important emails when needed. 3. Using digital note-taking systems. Sophie used to jot down ideas and tasks in random notebooks and sticky notes, making retrieval difficult. She switched to a structured note-taking system using Notion and Evernote. Tagging system. She categorized notes, e.g., our work, genre personal, our ideas, to make them easily searchable. Project-based notes. Instead of one long cluttered document, she kept separate notes for different projects. Quick capture. She used voice memos and quick notes to record ideas instantly before forgetting them. Result: she could now find key information in seconds instead of digging through piles of paper or digital clutter. 4. Automating and archiving for a cleaner system. Set autofilters for emails. Sophie created rules to automatically sort emails. E.g., invoices went straight to the finance folder. Archived old files. She moved inactive files to an archive folder to keep her workspace uncluttered. Automated backups. She set her system to back up files weekly to avoid data loss. Result: her workspace stayed organized with minimal effort. Key takeaways. Structuring information for productivity. Use consistent folder structures. Name and organize files logically. Archive old emails and files. Keep only what's necessary in your active workspace. Label and categorize everything. Use tags and folders for easy retrieval. Use cloud storage for accessibility. Access documents from anywhere. Automate organization. Use filters, backups, and rules to maintain order effortlessly. By implementing these changes, Sophie saved hours every week, reduced stress, and improved focus on important tasks. Final thought. The power of an organized mind. Levitin's lesson is simple. A well-structured external system leads to a clearer, more focused mind. The more efficiently we store and retrieve information, the less mental energy we waste, allowing us to focus on creativity, problem-solving, and high-impact work. Chapter 6. The role of sleep, exercise, and mindfulness. Levitin stresses that mental organization isn't just about external systems, it's about brain health. He highlights 3 pillars. 1. Sleep. Lack of sleep reduces cognitive function. Prioritize 7-8 hours of sleep each night. 2. Exercise. Physical activity improves memory and concentration. Even a 10-minute walk helps. 3. Mindfulness. A cluttered mind leads to stress. Deep breathing or meditation enhances focus. Sophie started prioritizing sleep, adding movement breaks, and practicing mindfulness. She felt sharper and more in control. Practical tips. Establish a consistent sleep routine. Incorporate movement into your day. Practice mindfulness to reduce stress. A life of clarity and control. By applying Levitin's principles, Sophie transformed her chaotic life into a structured, productive, and stress-free existence. The organized mind isn't just about decluttering. It's about thinking better, making smarter decisions, and focusing on what truly matters.